So let's get into physical touch. There's so many different ways. Obviously, physical touch can be applied to your partner. Obviously, we have intimacy, we have a kiss on the forehead,
Yeah.
we have a pat on the back, a hug. So there's so many different ways to get physical touch. I believe again, like Babe said, it's all about the timing and knowing when. A lot of people do struggle with not wanting what they call it. What is it? PDA?
Public display of affection. Yes.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't like that. So, just because I like to be touched and kissed and have you wrap your hands around my waist, at home while I'm cooking doesn't mean that, like, if we're out at the movies and I'm standing in line, I want you, like, hugged up on me and stuff like that. So it's just always know the time and the place to give these acts as well.
Yeah. I think that and if you're like men, if I know for men sometimes we don't like that, like the physical touch in public, like, all right, babe, all right. I think there needs to be a compromise in that sense too. Sometimes you need to let the other person express love the way they like to express love and receive love the way they like to receive love, and don't get so caught up on what you want, because relationships are about service. It's about what can I give and what can I take, in a sense. So like it's a give and take, it's a push and pull. So I think that there are times that maybe I don't want a certain love language, but I know that she's loving me in that way, and this is her way of showing love. So even though I'm not specifically needing maybe physical touch at the moment, I know her way of showing love may be physical touch in this moment, and you still have to give your partner credit for that thing. Like, she is showing love. She's not loving me, if that makes sense. Just because I don't want it in that way in this moment, she's still showing love, and you have to give your partner credit for when they are trying to show love and things like that. So physical touch is a big one. I think that's the most important in a relationship, personally, to me. How do you
Yeah.
feel, man?
I believe that it is about compromise. Not all the time does somebody want to be touched. I know a lot of people have personal space boundaries, or they're just like not having a good day and you don't want to be touched. And there has to be a compromise, because if it's coming out of a genuine place, then I do feel like, accept the love or give the love, and however you would want to receive it in that moment. So, and a lot of it, like I spoke on, was intimacy. So intimacy does not have to always be sexual intimacy. It
Yeah.
could be a lot of like just cuddling, or even like a gentle foreplay before intimacy, and not having it as far as it goes. Obviously, we all love sexual intimacy. That's like, of course. But we want to like also, as a woman, I know personally, I like to feel that we can have intimacy without it always having to go that far, or just jumping the gun and getting straight to the sexual part of it, where it's like, oh, I want to feel loved, I want to feel touched, I want to feel soft, I want to feel
Yeah.
like I'm being cared for and caressed rather than touched.
Yeah.
So
And men, we don't admit it, but we like the same things just as much as women probably. Like, men like when their woman rubs the back of their head, or when your woman comes by and just softly touch you and gives you that feminine softness that you need in that moment. Even if men don't react, you'll hear a lot of husbands. I've heard a lot of husbands speak about, like, I just want my wife to just do the touchy feely thing and just give me more touchy feely. So I think that's important to men and women alike. I think men don't always display it, but I think it's important. Like, and you're right. The it doesn't always have to be sexual intimacy. It could be, I walk by and I just rub your shoulder, rub your shoulder and just walk by, or sitting next to each other watching TV and I just rub your knee, just to
yeah,
let you know I'm here and let you know I see you and I feel you, and I'm giving you some type of physical affection and physical touch that you need, and just transferring energy of love to each other. Sometimes that's needed. Sometimes your partner may just need a hug, and that hug is better than sex sometimes, because you're like, man, I really needed that hug. I don't really need sex in this moment. I need a hug. So I think all those things are important. And you spoke about the public display of affection. You want to get a little bit more into that, baby?
yeah. So I know that some people are into public, display of affection. As far as like, I think there's gentle ways to go about it too. It doesn't always have to be, you sticking your tongue down my throat
Yeah.
at the grocery store. But, holding hands, or sometimes when we're out, like I like to like just kind of like hold on to his arm as we walk somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Or he might have his hand on my waist as we're walking somewhere. So it doesn't have to be like an inappropriate display of affection. You
You
know what I
remember
mean?
you remember when we were walking the other day and I was like, this is how you turn your wife on. without doing anything
Oh
sexual, and
yeah.
I just put my hand on her lower back as we were walking,
It
and
did
it
though,
made us laugh.
because physical touch is a way of like almost acknowledging somebody without words.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think and it feels good. It's kind of like he sees me, or you know what I mean. He can
yeah,
give me that little swipe across my butt, and like I know like,
yeah.
that's him saying like your booty looks good right now, babe,
Yeah,
without him saying
not
anything.
me grabbing it. I don't have to, especially in public. I do it at home, but not me in public. I don't have to grab it and slap her on the butt. I can just give her a nice little,
Yeah, he knows
you
I don't
know.
play that. Don't smack my butt in public. I don't
Yeah,
care how how
I
how
wasn't
much
raised
fun we're
to,
having.
but it's not her because of her personally. I just wasn't raised to do that. Like I was
Yeah.
raised that my mom always taught us, you don't do that. You don't just smack your woman on the butt and just give her a pie in public.
Yeah.
That's how my mom says it, pie. But you just don't do that as a gentleman, and you wouldn't want to do that anyway. There's ways of being physical and having physical touch without it being inappropriate and disrespectful. And it can still be just as sexy. It can still be just as attractive for your partner. But you don't have to always smack your woman on the butt and let her know and let everybody in the room know that this is my woman. Like, no, there's ways of being a gentleman about it. And I'm telling you, as a man from experience, there's nothing a woman loves more than knowing that she can get a full physical experience. I'll say it the PG way, a full physical experience at home. But when you're in public, you respect her as a woman and respect her as a lady, and you don't do all the extras and make her feel uncomfortable or make her feel like other people are looking at her like this guy's having sex with that woman,
Yeah.
and just making that loud statement by smacking her on the butt or grabbing her inappropriately or touching her inappropriately in front of everybody. Nobody wants you don't want your woman doing you like that. You know.
I'm glad you said that, because that's a big thing. Like as far as like being in public and showing affection can, like, don't have your woman feeling that, and don't have your man feeling this either, because I've seen it with men and women where they may be intimidated by somebody else in the room. So it's like immediately let me be all over my partner so that that girl over there knows this is my man and you can't have him. So I'm gonna kiss me, babe, kiss me. No, kiss me right now. Like no, like that's just like, you know what I mean? That's that forced, and that's almost as if you're using your partner. So don't do that. Don't,
Yeah.
if you see men and if you're intimidated by some man in the room or whatever, don't all of a sudden now you want to grab her ass, or excuse me, but like, you know what I mean? Like doing things like that. Don't go that far. There's a way of doing it. And like I said, if it comes from a genuine place, and there's ways to have appropriate affection in public, because obviously we're in public places, there's kids around, there's cameras around, so there's ways to do it and being soft, gentle, and genuine.
Why don't you give them some of the ways that they can do that? If you're in public and you're a woman, I speak from a woman's perspective, and you see a woman that you may be a little bit intimidated by, she's coming on to your husband or she's flirty with your husband, you're at the work party or wherever you're at,
Okay.
and she's a little bit flirty with your husband, and she's an attractive woman, and you want to show that, hey, this is my husband, this is my man, this is my boyfriend, this is my fiance, whatever it is, but you want to do it, give them a little physical touch. How could they do that? What's some ways that a woman can do that?
In my opinion, I don't get intimidated by women, but if I were to be in this situation specifically, I would probably, like grab his hand, or even just, I typically would just join the conversation and make myself aware and known. But I do believe it's a two-person duo. It's obviously up to my husband's responsibility too to make it known that, hey, I'm with my wife and I don't accept the energy that you're bringing over here. So, yeah.
So you think it has to be a work together? Because some people may say, well, I don't care if you're not intimidated by me. A woman may me feel like, well, she's just as confident as you. So she doesn't care if you're intimidated or not. She's still going to come on to your husband in front of you or your spouse in front of you. How do you deal with that as a woman? Using physical touch, how would you?
Using physical touch,
Yeah.
to me, I feel like that's hard, because I don't feel like I would use physical touch in that sense, because I don't think that that's going to change anything.
Okay.
And that goes back to me saying that I would feel like, I'm not going to be all over my partner because I'm intimidated by somebody. If I'm grabbing his hand, it's because I want to hold his hand.
Well, I'm saying even if you're not intimidated by this person, right? Like I'm not intimidated by this woman, but she's not intimidated by me either. But I do want to command some respect in the sense of this is my man. How do you do that?
Just I would grab your arm, you know what I mean? Link arms, you know what I mean? And kind of engage in the conversation of whatever's going on. Yeah, link arms, maybe, I mean, that's a tough question. I don't know how I would use physical touch in that predicament, but I know that I would just make myself known And, you know, once you link arms or you hold hands with somebody, it's kind of like saying, like, we're together,
Yeah.
we're joined as one.
Yeah.
And obviously, I leave that fully up to my man to have the respect for not just me, but for himself, to not, you know, entertain any conversation that we feel would be inappropriate. Obviously, not in a rude way,
Yeah.
because we're all going to encounter these situations. You know, one way or another, whether it's like you said, a work party, or you might be even out at a grocery store and you see an old friend or something like that. So it is always both parties' responsibility to make sure that that situation is under control. We can't control the like situation from happening, but we can be in control of what happens next.
Yeah.
So
agree
I
with
think
that.
that's something that two people need to do together.
Yeah, I think as a man and probably as a woman too, you probably just have to be aware of what's going on. You can't be naive to what's going on. You can't be, because I've been guilty of that type of situation where it's like I didn't even know she was flirting with me.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think as a man, that's a mistake. You got to know, like, okay, this person is going too far, and as a woman as well, you got to know, okay, this man is going too far, and he's trying to do the most. Because other people will do that. They'll try to do the most in front of your partner. You know, so if I see a woman that's trying to do too much in front of my woman, then I know I got to be aware of that. And maybe I have to initiate some physical touch to let her know, hey, this is my woman. I'm with her and I'm here with her. And as well, you know, like you said, grabbing the arm and combining and holding hands and linking together, just showing unity. I think that is a good solution, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that.